Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Feed the Beast StoneBlock 3. Today, I think I'm going to be getting into a little bit of power. In that case, we're going to be making a Powah Reactor. And I think with our previous setup, we're pretty well equipped for it at this point, because I have a whole bunch of spirited fernators as well that are created with the spirited energizing rods. Yeah, this worked out really well. Just upgrading things over time from last episode to this episode. I made this little archway. I don't know that it's going to stay. We'll see. But let's get into this. I've got a bunch of stuff already made. Let's see. I've got Powah brought up down here. What we need is a bunch of not the energy cells yet, because first we make the power, then we start figuring out how to teleport it around. Reactors, that's what we want. We're going to try and get up to the spirited set, but that, as you see here, is requiring all the previous versions. So I guess we're going to want this first, then that, and that. Yeah, putting all of them on my list over here. So I think that should do it. So let's put all these starter ones back in there. And now can I make the basics? 8, 8, 8, 8, and 4. All right, same as before. This is going pretty smooth so far. All right, so far hardened, still no problem. Oh, I got so close. All right, the hardened, or no, blazing stuff. I need more of the blazing capacitors. There we go. Now I'm able to continue on my journey towards Niotic, which I think I've got enough of this. And that is no longer a problem as well. So I think we've just got one more set to go. There's the last of the spirited capacitors I should need for this moment at least. And then 8, 8, 8, 8, and 4. Done. Then I can grab all these together. I have 36 of these. I'm going to want access to getting up there. So I'm going to need it a little bit wider than the area I have. So let's set this up here. So I think this 3x3 area here, we can actually build this there. Perfect. And then I can start digging around a space behind it. And all I did was just right click that stack of those on the floor. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Okay. We've got ourselves our spirited reactor, and it's got all these different inputs and outputs and stuff. Okay, cool. All right, there we have it. I have enough space that I should be able to access the top, though I may make the ceiling slightly taller. But either way, I now have a clear path around it on all sides, because I'm going to want to plug things into and out of probably multiple sides of this thing. But we're also going to need a bunch of fuel for it, as well as coolant and other things. And I think one of the things we're going to need is a blast chiller. Why do we need a blast chiller? Because as well as the fuel that you'll need for it, you'll also need some other resources in here, but you'll need something to maintain the temperature. If you keep the temperature down low enough, it produces even more power. So we're going to want to create ice, but not just ice. We're going to want to go for dry ice, which is made from blue ice being energized. Blue ice, of course, is a bunch of packed ice, and that is made from a bunch of regular ice. How best to do that? Well, I'm kind of thinking a blast chiller. There are probably other ways of doing this. Let's see if there's something. Yeah, I could just toss a bunch of snow blocks in mana. That would be a quick starter solution, because I've got the snow chickens. But I think a blast chiller is going to ultimately be the way to go. And because that'll constantly require water being fed into it, I think I'm going to actually go with an aqueous accumulator this time, which is something that just takes water and can mass produce it from source blocks. So let's start with the aqueous accumulator. There we go. We made one there. I am going to need a blast chiller as well. I don't know if I have all this stuff. Oh no, I need packed ice to start. Well, I guess that's where I'm going to grab a bunch of snow and toss it in to make ice in my mana room. So let's go talk to our snow chicken, which has been kind of busy here doing stuff. 41,500 blocks or snowballs. That seems pretty good so far. Just crafted up all the snow that I just pulled out, which is about a stack and a half apparently of snow blocks. That's a good starting point. Then going over to Botania area, I have all these blocks, and I just need to find the one that has, there we go, the thing that basically transforms things into something else. And then I can throw these in here. And it looks like I already have some blue ice in my inventory. Not all the snow blocks were done there. There we go. Now, can I convert these into packed ice without having to compress them? With a pure daisy, I could. Or I can just straight up bulk wash them. Oh, okay, that's probably a pretty good way to go. Let's go over to the chicken area here, and then we can just try bulk washing. So I'm going to have to start with packed ice. Let's do that for starters. Here we go. We now have a half stack of packed ice, which is great. And the rest of this can be turned into packed ice while I do this. Remember, this is just temporary manual stuff to get me started. But then I think I can convert this into blue ice with... Can I do it without just crafting it that way? Again, only with the pure daisy, which is something that would work. It's just I don't know if I really want to go that route. I think I'm just going to go with multiple crafting methods. There we go, 12 blue ice. I still have 6 packed ice as well, which should do for making a blast chiller, because that requires 6 pieces. I now have a blast chiller as well. So aqueous accumulator, blast chiller, and I need some water. Hey, we've got a couple of eggs here. That'll work just fine. You know what? Let's just put it down and see how things go. What I want to do is basically have aqueous accumulator feeding water into the blast chiller, which then is going to be making ice, which then is going to feed into 2 crafters, or a single crafter that can double craft. That could work. I think an RF tools one will probably work just fine. Let's click this recipe here, and we set up regular ice. We hit apply. Then the next one, double click to edit this one, and we take the packed ice, convert that, it will turn it into blue ice. That will work just fine, because with one making packed ice, the other one making blue ice, if we look at dry ice, I can have that piped out into here, and then automatically output back into it. So maybe I don't want this set up over here, now that I'm looking at the entire chain of things. So I'm going to need it to go ice, or water, ice, packed ice, blue ice, and then into dry ice. So there, I've made 1 dry ice just by tossing a couple of the blue ice in here. But now I can use this to add it to a filter in here. There we go. And now if the dry ice goes into here, it should automatically get taken out. Or once it's created, it should automatically get taken out. Let's get a drawer with a void upgrade. So let's grab a drawer. There we go. Then we can have that pull any items out of there as well. This can have the voiding upgrade, and once we put the dry ice in there, it should be lockable. Oh shoot, did it just take it? It took it. Ah, crud. Let's disconnect this for a moment. All right, let's take this aqueous accumulator and place it down here. Then I can take some water eggs, 4 eggs, and if I put these down in these 4 spots, then break this, it'll make the permanent water sources, which is what I'm looking for. And then this should be good. I probably don't need these at those corners now that I think about it, but oh well, too late, I've already made it. So this will just automatically fill up water. You can put things in here and it'll fill those up as well, but we don't really care about that. Now if I put a blast chiller on top of this, and then put an input on the bottom, auto input enabled, it should automatically, there we go, start filling up with water slowly over time. Let's put some components in here so that that can be powered. Well, when it gets powered, it should be able to hold more water as well as process things much faster. Looks like it will require 80 RF per tick, but that's fine because we're going to be producing quite a bit with this spirited reactor that it's going to be next to. In fact, we could probably just do some of this and then make it so that, there we go, it's pulling energy out of here once that's being produced. But we're going to need a little bit more than just this. We still need the crafters that I was talking about before. In fact, I think I might need to rotate this a little bit just to make things a little bit easier on myself. There we go. Then I can take these crafters, and I think this is the back now, isn't it? It is the back. Okay, so I could take this crafter, put it here. I can have it powered as well from the same connection, and it'll get power in here eventually once everything gets set up. All right, so this will start with getting filled with regular ice. It'll immediately get turned into packed ice, which then, once that accumulates, will get turned into blue ice. So I imagine at some point the blue ice will back up really far. So we're going to want a couple slots for each of the other ones so that those can still have space to craft. So this one here, the packed ice, it currently will go to the output buffer. We don't want that. We want it to stay in the input buffer, so it will go back in here. Then the blue ice will go to the external buffer. So it should craft this, go back into this spot, and make the packed ice, and then that will go to this output spot, which actually, let's take a couple more blue ice here and remember that as well. There we go. And now everything should be good to go. It can always fill this up with whatever it wants at that point, I think. It's been a while since I've used this, but I think this is how it works. Then we're going to want to connect this to here, and it's going to want to output from this spot the blue ice that we're looking for, which I'm putting the advanced pipe upgrade in here again. We're going to add blue ice, and as blue ice is created, it should just go into these two slots. Hopefully, we'll go into one then the other. I don't really know. Let's see here. Now I just need a little bit of power in here, so let's get a little bit generating. Now with these in mind, I could have them like so, with a couple of chickens in each one, making the stuff. Oh, and it'd probably be best if this was going in block form, but I think it'll still accept it in regular dust form, I guess. So let's take this, have these coming out, and there we go. Coal, redstone already filling up. The temperature is increasing. Power is being made, I think. Oh, right. We need the main power source. Those are the renewable ones. Let's grab a stack of this stuff here and plop it in. There we go. And that should last us a little bit at least. Now this is the only part of this that I don't currently have being made, is that being refueled. And wow, that's kind of chunking through it pretty quick. We're going to need to get some kind of method of getting this stuff a little bit easier than what I currently have. But it is generating some power, that's for certain. And apparently it's backing up. Whoa, has it got 40 million already? Okay, so it's doing a good job here. It's using 40 RF. It's currently increasing in its power. I don't have this thing upgraded. So let me get an upgrade in here so that these can then, there we go, get full power being given to them. And this I don't currently have actually exporting, so I want it to be on the back. Export, auto output, there we go. And then a bunch of this just got made, and a bunch of it just got pushed into the hoppers. Oh, that was just one. Okay, so I'm still waiting for another one, which should be in a little bit here, because it's still making these at a little bit slow of a rate, but honestly I don't think that we're going to run through it that quick. You see that this is still full, solid coolant. That, on the other hand, is going to be a concern. And you can see how fast this is currently producing things. We can even speed this up even more. I have now made a few of these flux linkage amplifiers. That's definitely going to make it, yeah, 320 RF per tick. But you can see how fast it makes this now. I can take those back out shortly. Oh wow, look at it just chunk through this stuff for the power. Okay, this actually gives me something next to work on, and that's going to be the automatic production of this, which is going to be a long process in and of itself. But this is currently making stuff. This is waiting for one. We're at 5. All right, it's at 8, so as soon as that gets up there, it should then input another one in here. It didn't. It went to the other hopper. Oh, there's one in each hopper. Oh. Oh. The hoppers only go in one at a time. Oh, crud. That is going to be a problem. I have another solution for this, and it's not going to be as elegant as one might think. I don't really need to have the blue ice going in constantly because, again, this is still just solid. Let's... Oh, give me that back. Let's take this out. What do we have? Blue ice. If I flick this lever, I can then turn these on and go... So with 12 blue ice that I have, 6 in here, 6 in here, flick the lever. It should then just start zapping through this, which will then automatically get fed into here. Oh, I never reconnected this. That's another problem. So let's reconnect that. And now we have a whole bunch of dry ice in there. And you can see this stuff lasts a very long time. So again, I think this is something that I don't need to automate as much as I do this. I spend all this time automating this stuff, and it doesn't need to be quite as automated. So let's put it up against this. There we go. Now I can see it. And I can put the item pipe on top of this, and it can start outputting these things. I can always pipe into this later on, or just click this if I need to. But for now, I think that it's going to be fine as is. This is a start. I have permanent coal coming in, permanent redstone. Now we need to work on getting this other power going. In fact, I might want to click on here and take some of the augments out of this and have this just running at a regular speed. In fact, let's even take this out, because it doesn't need to go fast at all. There we go. 3 of the flux efficiency upgrades on this should make it so that it runs really slow. Yep, because it slows it down, and it's only using 14 RF now. Okay, cool. Because again, we definitely don't need much in there. Oh, and we've already run out of power. But it does have 100 million currently stored, so that's something. Okay, so next we're going to work on making a more permanent source of this fuel here, this one. And in order to do so, we're going to process a bunch of the raw from crushed deep slate, which means we'll also need probably some kind of auto hammer. I've been wanting to get into those at some point anyway, probably much sooner in this would have been better. But yeah, so we're going to be using an igneous extruder in this case. Hopefully it will not use as much power as it does to produce this stuff. At least I don't think it will. There we go, 1 igneous extruder. And I believe if we look up the recipes on this, you can see we can make basalt, cobblestone, stone, blackstone, cobbled deep slate, and deep slate. And I think cobbled deep slate works just fine. It does require packed ice and lava, and I don't know if it actually uses up the packed ice. That's a good question. It's been a while since I've used it, so let's set it down and take a look. It looks like those are just 2 inputs, and if I get a bit of both... Okay, it requires an adjacent lava source and cooling. The block beneath may also affect the product, so this needs to have lava next to it or under it or something. I can't, actually not under it, so it would have to be next to it. Okay, so I put the extruder down here, I put a bucket of lava, and let's get some stone on my hotbar here. Stone over top so that it hopefully doesn't burn things nearby. I have no idea. And then if I put ice in here, adjacent lava source and cooling. Alright, so then I would need to potentially put ice here. Put that down. Ah, there we go. Cobbled deep slate. Oh, just like that. Okay. It doesn't even need an augment. Or power. That's even better. Oh my gosh. I forgot that this thing didn't need power. And what if I put a resonant integral component in there? Does it speed it up even more? Yes. It makes 4 at a time. That's great. Okay, we're going to do that. So then we need to turn it into crushed deep slate, which means we're going to have some kind of auto hammer. And I've been looking at these for a while thinking, there are some resources I don't have permanent resources from, but we can always start with some of these. Let's make one of these. I've got an iron auto hammer, right? Gold auto hammer. That one's upgraded. Diamond auto hammer. That one's upgraded, and then the netherite auto hammer. There we go. Okay, so with this being fed things from here, I don't know if just setting it down will work. It looks like it's already working. It is already working. I can't see it right now. Is it? It says that it's getting an input. So what if I take, or is the input on just that one side? Oh, there's the output. There's the input. So it's working, but it's not getting anything. Okay. Oh, and that needs to go. So with this in mind, if I put this here, it's crushing things. You can see now it has a bunch of the cobbled in the buffer, which I can then pipe upwards. Okay, so I should be able to put a bunch of wires down here then. There we go. And then I can have it take from here. And is it automatically going up here? It is, and it's automatically coming out down here. I forgot to take out all these outputs before. Let's take those out. Put those in the system. And yeah, actually I think it already is working because I've got some in my inventory and I don't think there was any in there. Yep, there it is. Cool. And here's the problem though, is that it's going to be making all these other outputs that I really don't need. I could process that a little differently. I could have it so that it comes out nearby and then gets smelted automatically and then goes into this. That might actually be a smart thing to do. Let's get that. I just made myself a netherite furnace because why not? I've done some rerouting. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're thinking, yes, this is an absolute mess. And it's something that's going to have to be fixed in the future. But maybe more along the lines of when I start making tesseracts or other things like that. I think I just got something from a bee. Thank you very much, random bee that disappeared. But I'm going to have this. It's not connected at the moment. Come down here, run all the way over here, and connect into this to output. There we go. Got the furnace in place here. Then we just need to have the chicken feeding fuel, which actually I've got a chicken up there feeding fuel. I could probably just take advantage of that one and not have to use another chicken at all. This works for me, so let's take some item pipe. Yeah, it'll all start connecting again. Everything seems to want to connect, which is great, but only sometimes. Then we can have this pulling out the items here. And I have no idea if I can just have them connect on a side and pull out the things that usually would come out the bottom, but I'm going to be a little bit more vanillous in this, and only so that I can keep it organized better in my brain. Currently it's got coal already from the other chicken that I have behind here feeding the other netherite furnaces I have. Then I just need to have this coming in to the top, and then at the bottom I'm going to need another filter so that it only takes out the things that I want. There we go, put this in place, and I guess I don't have one cooked yet, so let's put one in here. And it went directly into it. Yep, that's great. Okay, I've got some in my system, thankfully, or else I would have been struggling with that for a bit and having to disconnect it. But there we go. Whitelist only that, just to be sure. I don't think that it really needs it, but it should be fine. And now to connect this to the rest of this stuff, how are we doing on these items? Yep, this is fine. The only problem is the rest of these items are probably going to start building up at some point, and I'll need to have these piped out into maybe like a drawer or something like that. So let's connect this here. There we go. And it should be only pulling out the raw. Yes. And then it goes over here, instantly is getting smelted up and filling this up. Nice. Very nice. I realize that this is filling up fast now, but is it going to be able to keep up? Am I making this stuff fast enough in this method? Wait, where'd the rest of the uranium go? No. No. You did. I need to fix that. Okay. So I thought I don't have the filter on here. Whitelist only that. That's my bad. That was my bad. I thought that I had put the filter in and I had not. Either way, I'm getting a little bit of uranium here. Okay. So yeah, this is already starting to drop down on the processed, and it's not keeping up with how fast that stuff gets processed. And I realize that I'm not actually using the power, like it's generating a lot. It can, but I mean, what all am I going to be using this for? It doesn't matter. I need to have more of this coming in. So I think I'm going to have to expand this a bit further to more than just the one setup, because actually this is producing quite quickly. I think I'm going to need more auto hammers processing because they're not processing it fast enough. That's my bottleneck. I think I've got another plan here for what to do. Let's take some of this out because it's obviously not keeping up, and we'll actually expand this a little bit. I think we're going to just tap here. I need to have item pipes coming out of this, specifically connecting here, but not connecting. There we go. And then I can have 3 of these coming out with their outputs coming out of here as well. Like so. And then if I put down the auto hammers, I can't remember which way is input and output? If I set it down, that's the output, so I want to face that direction. Okay. So I'm facing this direction. Place this down, get out of there, like so. They should be going in. I just need to be able to pipe out now. And with my trusty pipe wrench, output, 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 and then output. So that's not working. Why is it not? Oh, there's a bottleneck, of course. Let's put this in here so that it should speed things up, and I'm going to want to do round robin so it hits each one at a time. Nice. Okay. They seem to be keeping up quite well. This one's not overflowing. It's just barely starting to increase in quantity. So I think I've actually reached a pretty good spot where if I add another one, it's going to be, then the igneous extruder is not going to be able to keep up with it. And with this coming out, it should be filling the crystal chest up here quite well. Yes, it is. All right. And in fact, it's backing up, which is a good sign that we're getting what we need. The uranium is starting to fill up in place here. Now let's see if this is actually going up at all. No, it is definitely not. So then I need to increase this production even further. And that means probably producing more wheels and expanding the current hydropower system that I have back here. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be a thing. We're going to expand it a little more, get more power, and then I'll make a couple more crushing wheels that I can just plop on the front here and have it continuing to access these as well. I might even just put a regular chest up here instead of this crystal chest, so it can be a double and it can fill into both. But yeah, I think that's the plan. I've got some repairs to take care of. It's currently working at the moment. I don't have enough production here for this to actually be as efficient as I had hoped, but there are other methods that I could probably look into. We'll see if I can refine this a bit further. But if you guys enjoyed this and you'd like to see more of this kind of craziness going on, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe. Don't be afraid to stop by on Twitch. We also have another YouTube channel called Mischief of Mice 2, where we upload our Twitch VODs regularly. So, till next time, folks, I'll see ya.